All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something called ENTIFY. And let me tell you, it's a system that's proposing a pretty radical new way to think about our digital identity. We're talking big concepts, even bigger claims. So, yeah, let's just jump right in and see what it's all about. Okay, so right off the bat, the project hits you with this incredibly bold statement. This isn't just about, signing up for another app on your phone. No. It's suggesting something way deeper. It's talking about completely transforming your relationship with your own identity and with technology itself. So, what on earth does that actually mean? So, let's get to the core of it. ENTIFY is basically positioning itself as the antidote to a world that feels like it's full of digital surveillance, right? We're talking about everything from government IDs to all that data harvesting corporations do. The way they frame it, this isn't just some new product. It's supposed to be a whole new foundation for, well, human freedom. And this really lays out the fundamental difference. Think about it. On one side, you've got the system we all know, where your identity is basically handed to you by the government or defined by the companies you use. But on the other side, that's ENTIFY's proposal, a totally self-owned identity, one that you create, you control, and you lock away in a private cryptographic vault that literally no one else can get into. Okay, so that's the big idea, but how does it actually work in the real world? Well, the system makes some huge promises. It says you can create your own lawful identity, you can link it to your legal docs without ever showing them to anyone, you're in complete control of your own cryptographic signature, and get this, you can even get into the financial system with what they're calling the world's very first legal, lawful, anonymous bank account. The key takeaway here? In this model, you're the boss. You are the authority. All right, so how do you even begin to create one of these self-authored identities? Well, it all kicks off with one really important foundational document. It's a formal legal declaration, and it's called the Proof of Life Affidavit. And look, this is not just about filling out some online form. The founder of the project calls this the moment of identity birth. It's meant to be a really serious, profound act where you formally declare that you exist and that you are claiming absolute sovereignty over yourself, over all your data, and over every single one of your actions. So the process itself, it's a series of really powerful declarations. First, you assert that you are a living being, a living man or woman. Then you declare ownership over your own consciousness and your actions. And this next part is critical. You actually copyright your own biometrics, your face, your voice, everything. After that, you take full responsibility for the tools ENTIFY gives you. Once you do all that, this affidavit becomes a permanent, unchangeable record of your identity. Now, you might be thinking about all the loopholes in traditional legalese, right? To get around that, this affidavit is written in something called controlled natural language. You can think of it as a special version of English that's designed to be completely unambiguous. It's so precise that both a human and a computer can read it and understand it in exactly the same way. That makes it both legally solid and technically sound. Okay, so you've made this powerful declaration. You've created your identity. But how is it secured? I mean, how do you actually prove that it's you? Well, this is where things get really interesting. This is where ENTIFY brings in this unique mix of your own body, your biometrics, and cryptography. The founder has this absolutely fascinating quote. He says, "Consciousness is now moving into cryptography." Think about that for a second. The idea here is that the system isn't just, scanning your fingerprint. It's supposed to be linking your deliberate, conscious intent directly to the crypto. Your body literally becomes the key. So here's a look at how that actually works. You have these practiced physical motions they call magic symbols. These act like your private key. It's a movement that only you know how to do correctly. Then, your classic autograph, something everyone can recognize, that acts as your public key, your public signature. And finally, your voice and your face are used as a proof of life to show you're really there. Put it all together, and you've got this multi-layered, very human-centric way of proving who you are. And here's the absolute crucial point, tying back to that affidavit. Remember how you declared a copyright over your own biometrics? Well, because of that, the whole system is built so that nobody, and I mean nobody, not even ENTIFY itself, can use or store your biometric data without your explicit consent. According to their materials, this is a total 180 from how biometrics are usually handled. Okay, a system this ambitious, one that's supposed to work for everyone on the planet? Well, it's going to need some serious technological firepower behind it. And for ENTIFY, that technological backbone is the Solana blockchain. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait a minute,
Why would you build a system that's all about privacy on a public, decentralized blockchain? It seems kind of counterintuitive, right? But there's actually a very specific reason for it. If you dig into their technical white paper, they lay out a few key reasons for picking Solana. First off, it's super fast and has really low fees, which you absolutely need if you're processing identity transactions for potentially millions of people. It also has native support for the exact kind of cryptography their hardware uses. And finally, its monolithic architecture means there's one single, consistent global record. And for a universal identity system, that's pretty much exactly what you'd want. And this right here is probably the most critical thing to understand. Your personal data, your affidavits, your biometrics, all that sensitive stuff, none of it ever actually goes on the public blockchain. The only thing that gets recorded are cryptographic hashes. You can think of them as encrypted digital fingerprints of your data. This lets you prove your identity is real and hasn't been tampered with, all without ever having to show anyone what's actually inside.
So when you start tying all these pieces together, you've got the legal affidavit, the biometric keys, the blockchain engine, you really start to see the full ambitious scope of the vision they're painting in their materials.
Really, at its heart, the whole project is trying to do something pretty cool. It's trying to blend these ancient, very human ways of proving who we are. Things like a signature, a sworn oath, or just pure conscious intent. And fuse them with the super powerful, unchangeable, decentralized nature of modern cryptography. It's a real fusion of old school principles and brand new tech.
And the full ecosystem? Wow. It's designed to be a complete operating system for sovereignty. It goes way beyond just identity. We're talking about a private banking layer, decentralized communication networks, and even secure hardware vaults to store your stuff in. And it's all meant to be integrated into one single framework that is completely owned and controlled by you. But the ultimate ambition? It's even bigger than all that. In their own technical docs, they explicitly frame this whole thing as building the foundation of the first sovereign digital nation. So this isn't just a vision for you and your personal identity. It's a vision for a whole new kind of parallel digital world. So when you boil it all down, the source materials are presenting NFT as a technology of liberation, something that's deeply rooted in the ideas of self-sovereignty. It's really asking us to imagine a future where we are the sole authors of our own identity. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. Is this truly the next evolution of personal freedom, or is it a new, high-tech version of a much older ideology?